Mount Vesuvius, the volcano that took thousands of lives in 79 AD when the volcano erupted. The inhabitants of Pompeii had no idea they lived beside a volcano, since it hadn't erupted in around 1800 years. The streets of Pompeii would have been busy and bustling with life, the theatres full as they watched their favourite play, or even just walking around their garden trying to relax. But then they would have heard an intense grumbling in the distance, and then the ground started to shake. Today we'll be exploring the ruins of Pompeii and climbing Mount Vesuvius. The doors that you can see just now were the holding pens for the gladiators. This is where they stayed between their fights, if they survived. This theatre is the smaller theatre of the two in Pompeii. This was used for entertainment like mime shows, singing and music. But there was a much larger theatre called the Grand Theatre in Pompeii, and it was the first completely excavated building at Pompeii. These three stones that you can see in front of you were used as stepping stones for pedestrians, as a lot of water would be running through the streets, and the gaps are also for a horse and cart wheel to pass through. The ruins at Pompeii were first discovered late in the 16th century by the architect Domenico Fontana. But what visitors often don't realise is that only 2/3 of ancient Pompeii have been excavated. So there is still 22 hectares that is covered in debris from the eruption 2,000 years ago. What a lot of people don't know is that it wasn't just Pompeii that was destroyed by the volcano. There was also another town called Herculaneum. Like Pompeii, it was a Roman town on the coast of southern Italy between modern-day Naples and Sorrento. It had half the population of Pompeii, having 4,000 to 5,000 inhabitants. And it was discovered in 1709 and systematic excavation began there in 1738. The graffiti that you can see behind the glass is from one of Pompeii's elections, where members of the public would paint messages associated with their candidate or the opposing candidate. In this building is one of many large houses in Pompeii, and to this day you're still able to see how they decorated their walls. The hole in the floor is where the Pompeians would collect the rainwater that would come in from the skylight above. Some of the walls of Pompeii are still very well preserved, and you can even see the finest details still. As you can see in the glass cabinet, the skeletal remains of the inhabitants that used to live in this house. The pottery jars that you can see in the corner were used to transport liquids such as wine and water. And the cart that you can now see, which was pulled by a horse, is a fully reconstructed cart, but the iron on the wheels remains original. This stone feature is one of the many public fountains that they had in Pompeii. The street that we are currently on is one of the main streets in Pompeii, and once you get to the end of the street you will get to the Forum, which you will see later in the video. And it is one of the most important excavated sites in Pompeii. But the building that we're coming into just now is the bathhouse. The plaster cast that you can see in front of you just now was of a woman who was pregnant and is now known as victim number 10. We are now making our way up the street to one of Pompeii's many brothels. which gives us a very interesting look into the Pompeian way of life. Pompeii had many travellers and tourists, a lot of which would not be able to speak Latin, so communication between the Latin and non-Latin speakers would have to be done visually. So in Pompeii you'll see many arrows pointing in the direction of the nearest brothel, made out of rock in the shape of a gentleman's private area. Then inside the brothel they would have paintings of various positions that the customer would be able to point to and choose.
After entering, we look at the paintings. On the left, after entering, on the left, over the door of each room there is a painting. An erotic fresco. Men look at the frescoes and choose. Okay. On the right side.
And on our walk to the forum we found our first arrow pointing back to where we just came. Now this is the forum, which would have been one of Pompeii's busiest areas, with a nice view of Mount Vesuvius in the background, which you will be able to watch me climb later in the video, and the views are absolutely stunning. The forum would have been used for markets and other sorts of trading. Excavations show that it has changed shape several times over the centuries. And if you are enjoying the video and you want to see more videos like this, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because it really helps out a lot. Our guide now allowed us to go and explore the forum for 10 minutes before we had to meet back up with the rest of the group. When we booked this, it was part of a combo deal which cost €80, which was a tour around Pompeii and then a trip to Mount Vesuvius. We then got free pizzas between finishing the tour around Pompeii and heading to Mount Vesuvius. A friendly reminder if you do go to Pompeii, but the driving there is extremely bad. It is absolute chaos, everyone's cars are all bashed up, so that's why a lot of the time you hear peeping every 2 seconds. The height of Mount Vesuvius is 1,281 metres, and the entrance to which you can go by bus is around 1,000 metres, so you only have 300 metres of actual hiking to climb it. And just for a warning, the shoes that you wear up the mountain will get really dusty. But the views looking over Naples are amazing. As you can see already, it is very busy, and near the top there is quite a few shops that you can get your water. And in the next clip you'll be able to hear me complaining about how much I'm sweating. I think it's bad, the view is bad, but I can smell it myself. See, you always go on about you can't smell your own smell, like I can smell. I know, I'm sweating like. Is this at the top or halfway or what? So this building that you can see just now is very close to the top. Oh my god, there's a fire! And there was also a fire just outside of Naples, and they had helicopters coming by and just dropping water on it.
That's it.
The actual crater of Mount Vesuvius itself is pretty underwhelming. But it is still an active volcano, you just can't see anything because everything is happening beneath the surface. But now, here are some of the views of Naples. And then you can go a bit higher up to get even better views. And there in the distance is another building, and that is at the very top. And you can also see some of the islands that lay off the coast of Naples, such as Capri. And please let me know in the comments below if you want to see me do more videos like this. I will always do my original Monroe videos, but I'd like to try other video ideas that go alongside the Monroe videos. But thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.